Hello and welcome to this quick TalkBox demo integrated with QikServe. So today I'm going to walk you through how we're helping hundreds and hundreds of QikServe users generate lots of sales from their customer database. So my company, Impact Data, we have a platform called TalkBox. It's a database marketing platform. You're looking at it on the screen here. Now, over the last 4 years, we've built this really tight integration with QikServe, whereby what we do is we come along with TalkBox and we integrate it or we connect it to QikServe. What that means is every single day, TalkBox is going to be pulling across lots of contact information from each and every customer that goes through your QikServe click and collect platform. What that means is we can see all those customers and we can importantly see when they're visiting, when they're not visiting, how much money they're spending, and lots of other information about their behavior at your venue. What we can do with that is we can turn that information into more orders for your business. And what I'm going to show you today is how we take that information from QikServe, understand what that information is showing us, and then how TalkBox can unlock all the value that's stored up in that customer database through a series of really intelligent automations that will be sent out to your customers every single day without you guys having to lift a finger. So as you can see on the dashboard here, we're pulling data across every single day. And the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is what types of data are we able to see? So if I come into this account here, I'm just going to select one of these contacts here. Now, remember, this is a demo account, so there might be blank spaces, but the key information is available on the screen now. So if I scroll down, we'll see we have at the top here, we've got contact information. Who is this customer? So their first name, their email address, their mobile. As we scroll down, we'll start to see some of the behavioral data that we're pulling across from QikServe. So I'd like to draw your attention to this field here and all the fields beneath it. So the first thing we're going to be observing is we're looking at first visit date. So when did the customer first transact with you? We're also identifying which days of the week your customers are visiting you. What we also do is we have this field here. This is called an expected next visit date. This is a little bit of AI or machine learning that looks at all the visits each customer has made and goes ahead and makes a prediction about when we think that customer's next likely to come back to your venue. So it's called the expected next visit date. Now, the idea here is it allows TalkBox to actually wait and observe and see if customers are turning up roughly when the data tells us that we'd normally expect them to visit your venue. If they do, we do nothing. We leave them alone because they're in your venue, they're spending money, they're spending full price with you. So we don't need to be sending them any communications to bring them back. However, if they go beyond their expected next visit date by a period, and that period is something we would all agree on together, and maybe it's a week, maybe it's 2 weeks. If they still haven't been within that period, then TalkBox will wake up and reach out to that customer with a promotion to bring them back to your store. Now, that's really cool because what it allows us to do is send promotions to customers without cannibalizing existing revenue. What we don't want to do is send promotions to customers that would have already visited you. Otherwise, we're just giving away stuff for no reason. So we build this little period of waiting in there. So we predict the future visit. We wait and see if the customer turns up. If they do, amazing, leave them be. If they go beyond that period, now we're going to send them a promotion. And it also actually helps qualify doing a promotion in the first place. So there's a business logic behind doing a discount, as it were. So that's a really cool part of the integration of the data we're pulling across every day. The next field is last visit date. So we've got when were they first in, when were they last in, when do we expect to see them next in? Then we've got total visits down here. What we do with total visits is we compare that customer's total visits to the rest of the database. So if we can see the customer's had 10 visits, we compare that to everybody else in the database and we rank the customer based on this scale here. So was the customer low, medium, or a high spending customer? What we then do is we've got day since last visit. We can also see every observable transaction in QikServe. So what we do is we work out a spend range by calculating an average spend. So we look back at all the transactions your customers made, we work out an average visit spend. Now that might be something similar to this. It might say £23.65. What does that mean? Well, not a lot actually, but if we go ahead and compare that number to everybody else in the database, we can now start to rank the customer within those bands. And those bands are top 25% of the database, so your high customers, middle 50 are going to be medium, the bottom 25 are going to be low. So depending on your database, you'll have different spend per heads, different ranges, but what we're doing is all the data is compared internally against everybody else in that database. So we're not comparing against other fish and chip shops, it's only within your system. Then we've got some fields down here, which are used for some of the automation that I'll walk you through in a moment. But effectively, what we've got here is we've got the three tenets of database marketing. We've got what we refer to as RFM data. So what does that mean? Well, RFM data is recency, when were they last in, frequency, how often do they come in, and monetary, how much money they spend when they're in your venue, or how valuable are these customers to you. So we're taking all that data from QikServe, we're populating each contact in the database. We know who they are. We know when they were last in, when they weren't in, how much money they spend, which days of the week they're coming. And now we've got some stuff we can do or use to send out communications to drive more visits. So let's go ahead and have a little look into the automation. So the automation is really the key value proposition for TalkBox. Essentially, what we're doing is we're saying we have a set of automation that we know works for fish and chip shops, and we're going to turn these on from day one. So you guys don't have to lift a finger. TalkBox is going to be doing all the heavy lifting for you. So this is the automation in here. There's 2 pages. And with the automation, it also goes without saying, this list of automation in here, my team configures for you. So we go ahead, we build the templates, we write the copy, we set the vouchers up, and then we configure the automation in your account. So within a few days of signing up, you've got TalkBox, which is doing all the analysis, all the thinking for you, and then it's reaching out just to the right people at just the right time to drive another order. So let's have a quick look at the automation. So we've got a couple of welcome communications here. So the first one's going to go the day after the first visit day. So the next day after a first visit, we want to well, initially, we want to make sure we're driving a second visit. So we want to make sure there's an offer in there to get that customer back in as soon as possible. On average, for QSR businesses, and in particular fish and chip shops, when we're looking at click and collect data, you're typically looking around 60% of the data in those platforms is made up of customers that have maybe only ordered from you once. So what we have here is an automation designed to reduce that percentage. So if we've got 60% of your database have only ever ordered once, and we can reduce that down to 30%, well, we've just grown the business by 30%. So a bit of a free kick, really. As soon as we can establish who the people are that have made a single order, we can then reach out to them with the automation to bring them back. That communication also contains a Net Promoter Score survey. So what we want to do, because we can see the customers visited for the first time, we can also take the opportunity to ask them for a little bit of feedback. So I'm just going to dive in here and show you how that looks. And at the same time, this allows me to show you how the campaigns look and how we build them. So if I click through here, you'll see that we have our little voucher here. So welcome. So this is Grill Thrills. There's their branded template. And then on the main body here, we've got the offer, 25% off. And importantly, you'll see in the middle there's a placeholder with the unique discount code. So I'll talk about NPS in a moment, but whilst we're here, we can quickly have a look at vouchers. So vouchers, we have a voucher integration with QikServe. So currently in your QikServe account, you can create static codes. So you could create a discount code that might say something like Mother's Day 1, and that might trigger a 10% discount. That's okay, but that code could be abused, right? Anybody can use that code. So it makes tracking the redemptions a little bit more trickier. And also those codes, they can only have like static expiry dates, which don't really work if you're setting up automation, because if you're setting up an automation that has a welcome email going out, you're going to want that welcome email to expire within 7 days of the customer receiving it, for example, and everybody will get their welcome email at different times in the year. So they need to be dynamic. So what we have here is we've got the ability to send out unique discount codes. They're single use, so we know exactly which customers redeem them. They cannot be abused, and they also have a dynamic expiry date. So usually these are expiring 7 days, 14 days after the customer receives them, which also means, because we're aware of when they're going to expire, we can go ahead and send a reminder communication, typically via SMS, 3 days before the voucher is about to expire, to remind the customer that we've sent them something of value and that they need to redeem it. Now, all of that happens completely automatically. We set all of this up for you. It's just important to note that the voucher offer that we've got in TalkBox is a step up in terms of being able to send out those promotions, track those promotions, and report back to you how much money we've made. So that's the vouchers. The other thing to show you, which is missing from here, I'll just add it now, is that little NPS survey. So if we come in here, we've got a little NPS survey block. Net Promoter Score, effectively, it's a really quick and easy way to get customer feedback from customer feedback. And the reason businesses like finding out their Net Promoter Score is because to do so, you're asking a single question. How likely would you be to recommend us to your friends? Now, the response to this question is, again, it's one little click. So it's a score anywhere between 0 to 10. Now, what happens is the customer selects their score on this email, and then a little pop-up appears where they can add some commentary. What we do is in here, we will then present that information to you. So the way we work out our net promoter score is we use this little scale here. So any customer that gives you a score between 0 to 6, they're what we call a detractor. So they've had a bad experience. The data tells us that these people are telling people not to visit you. They're actively discouraging people to go to your venue. 7s and 8s, these people are okay. They've had an okay time. And the data tells us these people are not really telling anyone about their visit. But the 9s and the 10s, these people love you, and they're actually out there and they're telling people, hey, you need to get down there this week because they do the best fish and chips. So to work out your score, you minus your percentage of promoters from you minus your percentage of detractors from your percentage of promoters, gives you an NPS score. And that number is anywhere between -100 and +100. And it doesn't matter where we start, as long as that number is going up. That means the business is trending up. It means customers are super happy, and it means the business is growing. So NPS, just to recap, strongly correlates with business growth. If we've got a really good NPS score, likelihood is the business is growing. If we've got a poor score, business is shrinking. So we present that score to you every single month, and then below you will see a breakdown on the data that's coming in. So how many people are within those categories. You'll see some commentary. So some people can leave, well, any customer can leave comments if they want to. Some do, some don't. If they do, you'll see those coming in there. And then down beneath that, there's a little trend line which shows you, are you going up or are you going down? Some businesses that we work with will peg little staff incentives to the NPS surveys. Based on the score going up, they'll add a little bit of, they'll add a bonus to particular staff members that are on the counter. Now, all of that happens automatically. It's all triggered from that welcome email you saw a moment ago. We build the reports, and then to take it a step further, there's more automation built into the survey. So any customer that gives you a 9 or a 10, we go ahead and we ask them to give you a review on TripAdvisor or Facebook review or wherever you want to push those happy people. 7s and 8s, the neutrals, we're going to say thank you for your time. And then anyone less than a 6, a detractor, some form of apology. On this occasion, we failed to live up to our typically high expectations. Rest assured, we'll be in touch soon. So, and we will talk to you about what those campaigns say and how you might handle the negative feedback that's coming back in. But again, all of that we set up for you, and it's all going out automatically every single day. So let's go back to the automation. Go to date triggered here. So we've had a quick look at the welcome email. Now, obviously, when we turn TalkBox on, you're going to have a lot of people in your database already. So what we want to do is we also want to send them a communication as well. So that's what that one there is. Welcome to the program. One day after the creation date. That effectively means the day after we turn TalkBox on. So everybody that already exists and has already purchased from you in the past will get a welcome to the program communication to let them know what's going on. So that's the onboarding and the welcoming portion. And then if you look above, we've got these two here, new customer retention 1 and 2. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wait a period of time. And in this example, we're going to wait 4 weeks after the first visit date. And then TalkBox is going to go ahead and look at each contact and see how many total visits they have. Now, if your customers are sat on a single visit, then TalkBox is going to reach out and send them a promotion. If your customers sat on 2 visits or 3 visits, we will leave them alone because they're already being back, and that's the purpose of these campaigns. So these are retention campaign, and they're all about driving more second visits. So the customer gets their welcome email. If they ignore that, we wait 4 weeks. If they're still not being back, we send them another one, and then we wait another 2 more weeks if they ignore this one here. So now it will have been 6 weeks since their first visit. And again, if they've still sat on a single visit, we'll reach out to them and send them a promotion. Typically, your new customer retention 1 is going to be a good offer. New customer retention 2 is going to be a really generous offer because we're getting to the point now where they've already missed the welcome and the customer retention 1. So we're strengthening the offer as we go through the automations. Moving on. What about everybody else in the database? Well, everybody else in the database is a slightly different game. What we're going to do is we're going to use the expected next visit date as our trigger. So what we're going to be saying to you is essentially, how long after a customer has missed their expected next visit date are you prepared to wait before we reach out and send the customer a promotion? So in this example here, we're going to wait 2 weeks. So what this means is rather than a standard lapsed communication that you might set up for in a customer database, what you might do there is you might say, okay, anyone that hasn't visited in, say, the last 4 weeks, we'll send them a discount. The problem with that, though, some of those people that you're sending promotions to may only visit every 6 weeks. So you're going to be sending them a lapsed promotion at week 4 when they wouldn't have come till week 6 anyway. So you've actually just given away profit for no reason. So using the expected next visit date, we're able to send these retention campaigns, but we're able to base it on every single individual customer's behavior. So for every customer, we'll have their own expected next visit date. We're going to wait a couple of weeks after that has lapsed before we reach out to bring them back. And again, we've got 2 of those, and they are called existing customer retention 1 and 2. So we're using the AI to predict future visits to avoid cannibalizing sales. Then we've got lapsed customers. So at this point, it's a case of when are we starting to be concerned? So it's a bit of a Hail Mary at this point. So it's been 12 weeks, as you can see here, since the last visit. So we're going to reach out to the customer to try and get them back with their communication. We had an example of a large fish and chip shop chain that we did this with. We sent it to 1,000 customers. 200 people redeemed the lapsed customer offer, which made them a bunch of money. But then the key metric for us was to say, okay, after those customers came back, did they continue to visit the venue, or did they just redeem the offer and never turn up? Of the 200 people that redeemed the offer, 80 people carried on purchasing for the next 3 months, and the combined spend of those 80 people more than covered the cost of the initial discount that the business sent out. I think the business sent out a 50% discount. 200 people redeemed, and then 80 people carried on purchasing organically, which covered the cost of the initial discount. So that was a massive win just off the back of a lapsed customer communication. Then moving up here, we've got these 2. So these are called Celebrate Me campaigns. So with some systems that we are connected to, sometimes we don't get a date of birth, or sometimes the customer doesn't want to tell us their date of birth. So if we don't have a date of birth for your customer in the database, we send these campaigns instead. So what we're doing is they are the same, it's the same style or the same flavor as a birthday message, and it's going 6 and 12 months after the first visit date. And the message will come through and it will say something like, today is a Celebrate Me day. We want to make today all about you. It doesn't always have to be your birthday to make you feel special. So from everybody at the fish and chip shop, here is a free bag of chips to say thank you for being an amazing customer. So those are surprise and delight campaigns. The customer doesn't know they're going to get them. They're coming through at 6 and 12 months after the first visit date. And what it means is 100% of your database now can get a birthday style promotion, which still has a really, really strong redemption rate. So if we have a date of birth, we will send them a date of birth message. I'll show you that in a moment. That lives in here. If we don't have a date of birth, we've got the Celebrate Me campaigns that are going out. And then just to finish off, we've got these loyalty style promotions up here. So we say loyalty style because QikServe is not a loyalty program and neither is TalkBox. But what we can do is we can see customer visits. So what we're asking the chip shops that sign up to TalkBox is to pick one of these promotions. We call them Loyalty 10 or Loyalty 5. So if we focus on Loyalty 5 to begin with, you'll see there's 2 emails here. Loyalty 5 prompt. What we're doing is on the 4th visit, we're going out to the customer and we're saying, hey, did you know if you come back one more time, you're going to get a promotion. You're going to get a reward to use on your next visit. So the customer comes back in for their 5th visit, and then they would receive this campaign here, 1 day after last visit, on a multiple of 5 visits. So what we're doing here is we're driving visits 4, 5, and 6 really close together. If you didn't want to reward your customers' behavior that frequently, we can switch it to Loyalty 10. So that works the same way, but we're trying to drive visits 9, 10, and 11, and every multiple thereafter. So they're surprise and delight. They're going out automatically after certain visit thresholds. When we look at the automations, all of these automations you've seen today, the loyalty ones are some of the strongest performers. And that really is because it's a surprise and delight campaign. Customer doesn't know they're going to get anything. It comes out the blue, and it's a little prompt to get them back into your business. Lastly, we've got, if I just come back over here, we've got an update details campaign. So this is a little email that goes out 3 days after the customer signed up. And we go back and we ask them for a little bit more information about themselves. So in this case, we might be going and asking for a date of birth, or for some of our seasonal, some of our touristy chip shops on the coast, they might be asking the customer to tell them if they're local or if they're here on holiday, and that would change some of the communications that they might receive. And then just to finish off, if you ever wanted to do any of this stuff yourself and you wanted to roll up your sleeves and send your own campaigns, we will show you and support you and make sure that you can do that yourselves. So we'll give you full training on how to kick out a communication, but it's essentially as simple as coming through to here, building a template, using the drag and drop editor, and then deciding who you're going to send it to. So that email would go out to whoever you would like it to. So it could go out to everybody in the database, or you might want to sort of focus on driving midweek sales, for example. We've got some shops that will focus on, Monday to Friday, offers only redeemable between 11 and 2, that type of stuff. So we'll give you full training on how to do that. But the idea here is that even if you are too busy to log in, don't worry, we've done the thinking for you. We've built this over the last 4 years. We know exactly what automations work for fish and chip shops. We will configure everything for you as soon as you've signed up. And so for lots of our chip shops, they're not even logging into TalkBox. Everything just runs automatically itself. In terms of revenues, what we do on the reporting section here, where we've got account performance, what you would see in here, remember this is a demo account, but what you would see in here is you would see how many vouchers have gone out, what the revenue is coming back in for each campaign, how many visits have occurred. So how many people in your database have visited your venue in that particular month, which is a really interesting metric to focus on. And then lastly, how much revenue has come into QikServe from the database. So what we look at is everybody in the database that's ever made a purchase within a particular month. We'll be able to show you how much of that revenue has gone into your business through your QikServe dashboard as a result of TalkBox. Anecdotally, I was looking at a chip shop yesterday down in Cornwall. For July, they had £82,000 of revenue go through their books as a result of TalkBox pushing out these automations. So we present all of this information to you on here. You'll see we've also got engagement, so you can start to see how well the campaigns are performing, and then some database growth numbers, because what's driving all of this is having that big database that we can continue to grow over time. So appreciate your time. That's been about 20 minutes. Hopefully I've kept you entertained. If you are interested in signing up for TalkBox or you want to find out a little bit more about it, just simply email hello@impactdata.com.au and we'll be in touch to get you sorted. Thanks for now.